Woodson High School opened in 1962. The school was named in honor of a former Fairfax County Public Schools superintendent, Wilbert Tucker Woodson. W.T. Woodson was born in Crozet, Virginia, in November 1893. He graduated from the College of William and Mary and served in the U.S. Army during World War I in France. In 1925, Woodson was hired as a supervisor by Fairfax County Public Schools to assist Superintendent Milton Delaney Hall. Beginning in 1926, Woodson also served as clerk of the Fairfax County School Board. In 1929, when W.T. Woodson was promoted to division superintendent, FCPS had an enrollment of about 4,700 students and an annual budget of $288,000. One of Woodson's first challenges after becoming superintendent was school consolidation. The consolidation era of the 1930s was a time when FCPS closed its rural one- and two-room wood-frame schoolhouses and opened modern brick-and-mortar school buildings.
We had so many of the one-room schools, one- and two-room schools on very small lots with a pump in front and a couple of houses out the back and a wood or coal shed. And to consolidate those schools, there must have been 40 or 50, I don't remember the exact number now, scattered over the county. And our problem was to get them together in a larger school so we could do a better job. And one of the difficulties in consolidating then, though, were roads, poor roads. You couldn't operate buses over many of those roads. And some of the buses that we used at first were just makeshift buses. Most of them were trucks owned by local farmers who would put on a homemade bus body to serve to haul the children to school in the wintertime. And they would take those bodies off in the summer or maybe on Saturdays and weekends and haul pigs and cows, stock in those same trucks. In most other communities, I'd say practically in all communities, there was considerable opposition to closing the one-room school. The argument was that the school was good enough for me, it's good enough for my father and mother, and for my grandparents, it's good enough for my son and daughter. Then, too, they had fear buses, said you're going to put them on those buses and they're going to get killed, they're going to get broken up and killed. We want to stay right here. And there was considerable opposition to overcome.
In the midst of school consolidation, the Great Depression was unfolding nationwide. Superintendent Woodson worked to secure financial assistance from the federal government's Public Works Administration, or PWA, to construct new schools at Burke, Dunloring, Gum Springs, Lorton, Woodlawn, and Vienna, to name a few.
Mrs. Archer, she had a telephone, and you could hear her talking, and she'd get on that phone. She would be there every day. All right, Mr. Woodson, because she wanted this new school. And he used to send Mr. Shands, who was his assistant, he come down, talk to her, and see what she needed. And whatever she needed, she would tell him. Mr. Shands would bring it. But Mr. Woodson was the main man, and that was who she was on. I need this school, I need this, I need that, and I need the other. He gave her a hard time, but I do know that after she passed, it was very soon, this school was rebuilt.
The consolidation of the schools for African American children, during which the first renovation and expansion of what would become known as Louise Archer Elementary School was completed, occurred during the 1940s and early 1950s. At that time, the post-World War II baby boom was underway, and Fairfax County Public Schools was on the cusp of dramatic change. In 1945, there were 8,200 children enrolled in FCPS at 42 schools. Just 15 years later, in 1960, enrollment had swelled to some 60,000 students at 93 schools. Superintendent Woodson described the challenges of rapid enrollment growth in an interview in early 1961.
This school is not one of our newest, but was built to meet the needs of the population when it was first built about 1940. As the community grew, we added additional rooms to this building. You can see them as the film moves to the left. We added additional classrooms, added improved cafeteria, and have modernized this school until we believe it's just about as good as any of the newer schools that have been constructed in the last 2 or 3 years. This is one of our elementary schools were the newer schools we had built, we thought, to meet the needs of the community. But the population exploded much more quickly and with more impact than we expected. And you see now one of our mobile classrooms, which has been brought alongside to take care of the overflow from the main building. This is one of our new intermediate schools now under construction. We have built 8 of these this year. Until this year, we have operated on what is known as the 7-5 school plan of organization. Our school board, after much study and discussion, decided to divide our school system into what is known as the 6-2-4 plan. These buildings house the 7th and 8th grades, called in many sections junior high schools. Our own board preferred we not call them junior high schools since they thought the word intermediate represented better the thought they wished to convey, or the purpose rather they wished to convey in the operation of these schools. This is the Annandale High School, which is another overcrowded school. High schools have been built to relieve this, but it still seems to fill up as fast as we can move children out.
In 1954, the same year Annandale High School opened, Fairfax County Public Schools opened its first and only all-black high school, Luther Jackson High School in Merrifield.
Mr. Woodson used to come to our school probably once a week at first. We always had brand new football uniforms. You know, most schools got football uniforms every 3 or 4 years. We got brand new stuff every year. Basketball uniforms, you know, we had everything because Mr. Woodson didn't want us to be unhappy.
Also in 1954, a few months before Luther Jackson opened, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in the case of Brown versus Board of Education that state laws requiring racial segregation in public schools were unconstitutional. In response, Virginia entered into a period of massive resistance, passing laws to prevent school desegregation. Superintendent Woodson and many members of the Fairfax County School Board were openly opposed to desegregation. Woodson wrote in 1959, "The order to desegregate schools is highly improper and infringes on human rights. To force integration of schools is to force social mixing, since attendance in public schools is usually compulsory. It takes advantage of the immaturity of children in that it tends to use it to force upon both parents and children social adjustments to which so many parents strongly object." Superintendent Woodson eventually supported a plan for the gradual integration of Fairfax County's public schools, but the plan never went into effect because in September 1960 it was struck down in federal district court. In November 1960, Superintendent Woodson announced his retirement, effective June 1961. Before his retirement, in December 1960, the school board went against policy and named the new high school under construction near Fairfax the W.T. Woodson High School. Up until his death in 1983, Woodson was a frequent guest at the school. Red Jenkins, a former varsity basketball coach at Woodson, described Superintendent Woodson in an interview.
His nickname that I would give him would be the Silver Fox. He had snow white gray hair, very handsome old gentleman, fascinating gentleman, and was always an advocate of teachers' rights, and he always fought for the teachers, which wasn't always easy to do back in those days because they wanted to keep salaries down. I remember sitting next to him at an awards night one night, a funny story. We were sitting next to each other chatting and waiting for the award ceremony to start, and all of a sudden the side door to the auditorium flew open and 5 young men dressed only in neckties came roaring through on a quick trot from one end of the auditorium to the other and out the other door, with the assistant principal, Firth Morris, in hot pursuit. And he looked at me because he was probably about 80 at the time. And he said, "Paul, what was that?" And I said, "Those are just some streakers, Mr. Woodson." He went, "Oh yeah, streakers. I know about them." He said, "In my day, we ate goldfish." Mr. Woodson is an unforgettable character.
Wilbert Tucker Woodson passed away in November 1983 and was buried in Fairfax City Cemetery. He holds the distinction of being the second longest serving superintendent in FCPS history.